The Bell Tower Whispers. Before we start, like and subscribe my channel for more amazing stories. The village of Greywick was quiet, fog-drenched, and old. At its heart stood St. Elora's Chapel, built in the year 1799, with a bell tower that had not rung in over 60 years. The bell was said to toll on its own when death walked nearby. No one dared go near it. But when 4 teenagers vanished after entering the chapel during a dare, the silence of the tower became too loud to ignore. Detective Marcus Vale was called in from the city to investigate the case. He had heard of Greywick's folklore, but didn't put stock in ghost stories. The villagers, however, spoke of the tower as if it were alive. They said the bell called people to it, people who never came back. Marcus visited the chapel on a foggy evening. The heavy wooden doors creaked open easily. Dust covered every surface. Candles sat half-burned along the pews. On the altar, someone had left a notebook. The last page read, "4 came. None will leave. The bell has chosen again." Marcus climbed the narrow staircase toward the bell tower. Each step groaned under his weight. As he reached the top, he felt a sudden chill. Not from the wind, but from something watching. The bell stood silent, immense and ancient, its iron surface engraved with symbols no one in town could decipher. He ran his fingers over one. A scream echoed in his mind. He staggered back. The stairs behind him had vanished. In their place, only a brick wall. Trapped. Suddenly, the bell rang once. Though no rope was pulled, Marcus's vision blurred. He was no longer in the tower. He stood in the middle of the chapel. It was no longer abandoned. The pews were filled with people wearing robes with stitched mouths. A choir hummed a broken hymn. At the altar stood a figure wrapped in tattered red cloth. It lifted its arm and pointed at Marcus. The bell rang again. He dropped to his knees, ears bleeding from the sound. Then silence. He was back in the tower, alone. But now the bell had a crack down its side, and smoke was leaking from it. That night, Marcus returned to the inn where he was staying. He reviewed the notebook. It had changed. Now it contained sketches of him sleeping, screaming, drowning. The next morning, he returned to the chapel with officers from the nearest town. The bell tower door was gone. A wall stood in its place. The officers told him there was never a staircase. No one had entered the bell tower in over 60 years. He showed them the notebook. Its pages were blank. But later that night, Marcus heard a tolling in his dreams. 13 chimes. When he awoke, his watch had stopped at midnight. He looked in the mirror. His ears were bleeding. In the mirror's reflection. Behind him, the bell swung slowly back and forth. But when he turned, there was only silence, and a shadow at his feet that didn't match his body. The next day, he got a letter with no return address. It read, "The bell is your burden now. If it rings 13 times, the door will never close again." He began to hear whispers at all hours. Every time the clock struck 12, a new name would echo through his house. Names of missing people. Names of villagers long dead. On the 7th night, the bell rang again. Only in his ears. Only for him. He traced the symbols etched into the bell. They were names, and now his was carved into the 13th spot. He was marked. The bell had chosen.